Labour dumps negotiation over federal government's 48,000 naira proposal. Nigerian Senate criticizes state governors over local government autonomy. Kebbi airlifts first set of pilgrims to Saudi Arabia. And last night on the foreign scene, state of emergency takes effect in New Caledonia after 4 killed in France riots. Hello and welcome to the Trust TV News Update. I am Martia Umar. Thank you. Now, the Nigerian Labour Congress and Trade Union Congress on Wednesday dumped the minimum wage negotiation after the federal government offered to pay 48,000 naira, a figure far below the 650,000 naira the unions were demanding as the new national minimum wage. After abandoning the session, the furious Labour leaders summoned an emergency press conference where they vented their displeasure with the offer, describing it as an insult to the sensibilities of Nigerian workers. Speaking at the press conference in Abuja on Wednesday, hours after the stalemate, Ajero disclosed that in contrast to the 48,000 naira offer made by the federal government, the organized private sector proposed an initial offer of 54,000 naira. He blamed the government and the ops for the breakdown in negotiations, saying despite earnest efforts to reach an equitable agreement, the less than reasonable action of the government and the organized private sector has led to a breakdown in negotiations. This was the second time in 2 weeks that the negotiation has run into trouble. Reactions have trailed the announced suspension of the contentious 0.5% cybersecurity levy, which was proposed by the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And the hugely unpopular policy had sparked a public outcry since the announcement of its implementation by Central Bank of Nigeria. In this report, Noel Samson speaks to experts and residents to perceive on how the perceived report.
Commendation and criticisms have trailed the suspension of the cybersecurity levy as Nigerians bear their minds on the current state of affairs. While some applaud the responsive outlook of the Tinubu administration, others say the back and forth on government policies is a sign of uncertainty and lack of conviction that Nigeria needs to bring about sustainable growth and development.
Government has to stand firm. Policies of government should be thought through, and it should not be half-baked in the sense you are quick to rush to issue statement, policies, circulars, and executive orders when you have not actually think through them.
The reversal of cybersecurity levy actually shows that the president is sensitive to matters of taste. That means he has seen a lot of people taking position that is against the policy decision. And I must also tell you that though our president is also abusing the power of legislative to an extent, because it's an act that must be taken into cognizance by CBN.
We do not have evidence-based policies. We don't grill our system to evolve policies on the basis of reality. And the people who are to grill it, get the data, develop the analysis, come up with statements of reality are academics. And there's a big lacuna, there's a big gap between our academia and then the policy-making system.
Across the streets of the Federal Capital Territory, residents voiced their opinion on the already unpopular directive, with many Nigerians already decrying the current cost of living.
You know that what we are passing through in this country, I don't think it's good to, introduce any policy that would still affect the masses. So I am very happy when I heard that they have waived it off.
Government felt it was important to reverse whatever it is. And if it's reversed in public interest, I think that is good.
Nigerians are being overtaxed, taxed here and there, and we are very uncomfortable. Like we in the private sector now, no pay is adding to our salary. because most of the businesses are struggling. and being overtaxed. And when you ask our employer to give us their minimum wage, they don't want to give us the minimum wage.
Cybersecurity is important because it protects all categories of data from theft and damage. This includes sensitive data, protected health information, personal information, intellectual property, and industry information systems. It remains to be seen what action the federal government will take next to fund the cybersecurity in the country. Well, Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And now to the National Assembly, where the Senate on Wednesday called out state governors of deliberately stifling the operation of local governments in Nigeria. They say their actions towards frustrating the efficient running of the government closest to the people has infringed on its constitutionally guaranteed responsibilities. Trust TV Senate correspondent Sagir Ibrahim brings us details.
It took more than an hour as the Senate deliberated extensively on the issues of local government autonomy, especially as it relates to their finances, often hijacked by their state governors in total disregard to the provisions of the 1999 Constitution. It all began when Senator Kawu Sumaila, Kano South, drew the attention of his colleagues to the situation which he claims has rendered the local governments ineffective in the country.
Concern that with limited financial and operational autonomy, local government may struggle to effectively address local security concerns like community policing initiative, intelligence gathering, and the infrastructure maintenance.
The motion enjoyed unanimous support from the lawmakers. The Senate frowned at the tendencies of the state governors to establish caretakers to control and pocket the finances of the local governments, calling on President Bola Tinubu to wade in and reverse the trend.
Until the local government system functions, Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, will be on a wild goose chase. Our security will continue to be deleterious.
The only way we can solve what is happening in our country today is to return local government money 100% to the local government council and improve the capacity of the people running local government.
The autonomy of a local government system cannot be guaranteed without altering the 1999 Constitution.
We should not spare any effort in bringing it to the court of public opinion, the abuse of the local governments by the state governments that see the local governments as cash cows that they can use at the expense of the development of our communities.
For the Deputy President of the Senate, Barrow Jibrin, who presided over plenary, local government administration in Nigeria is dead.
Government areas cannot do anything. They don't do anything now to the people. It's quite wrong. Their monies are being illegally appropriated by the governors.
In the end, the Senate adopted all 7 prayers brought forward by Senator Sumaila. From the Red Chamber of the National Assembly, Sagir Ibrahim, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now, artisans in Lagos have called on the federal government to reverse the hike in electricity tariff to enable them sustain their means of livelihood. A policy, according to them, has exacerbated the current hardship being experienced by Nigerians across the country. Aisha Momo has more in this report.
The recent hike in electricity tariff has continued to receive knocks from Nigerians who are complaining that the development has affected their businesses negatively through loss of revenue. Some of those affected are fashion designers who are lamenting the drop in patronage due to the inability to meet deadlines.
But me and you know that definitely what we are paying for is darkness, because the electricity is not there. So what we are paying for, we are not enjoying it. The payment does not justify the service they are giving us. And now, what government is trying to do is also to increase. And then they bring a segment to tell you are in bank A, you are in bank B, you are in bank C, or Z, or as the case may be. So what's the meaning of all this? Are you saying some people are important than others? So those are the questions. So we want a total reversal on this issue to say that this tariff, we say no to it.
Others lamented that following the tariff increase, they have resorted to using manual sewing machines as they can no longer use industrial sewing machines and other electricity-based appliances for their jobs. This, according to them, is really slowing down business and affecting turnover.
The income we are seeing per month and the bill that we are paying is not tally. If you are seeing 50,000 naira per month, we are paying like 25,000 naira as bill. I have a son and I have a daughter that is going to school. So the economic affects me very, very well. And I can't depend on government. I depend on myself too. But less government should empower us.
From example now, before, we load 5,000 naira, we using over a month. But now, it's not up to a week. We finish. And it's affecting our business very well because we are using iron and we are using machine. And that's why most of the day we are not using that industrial machine, we are using leg because of that light. Because we use it, the light will just have gone with that. Help us tell our federal government to help us reduce the something so that it can easily for us to use.
Because we are managing the light, so we are managing to use the manual. So when we are sewing with the manual, we do use our hand to adjust the cloth. We'll be drawing the cloth. But industrial, we are using industrial, we will just go straight. But because of the light has affected us serious. It's affecting the business. Things are not going well. Things are not going, it's affecting us every part of our life, Seth. Every part of our life. We can't buy fuel. We can't use light again. The light now, it's like the light now is not for poor people again. The light is not for poor people. It's like, so even big mess, I know it's affecting them, but it's killing us, the poor people.
They pleaded with the federal government to reverse the tariff, which has slowed down their services.
The situation is not so different in Yenagoa, where the residents that's in Bayelsa State capital have been lamenting what they describe as the skyrocketing prices of commodities such as rice, beans, garri and plantain in the state capital. To this end, they're calling on the federal government to, as a matter of urgency, declare a state of emergency in the food sector as a way of ameliorating the sufferings of Nigerians who can barely afford foodstuff due to rising prices. Trust TV's Friday Ebimabaway Peter, who went round one of the popular markets in the state capital in Yenagoa, ascertained the increase in prices of commodities, and he now reports.
Some residents who spoke with Trust TV expressed shock with the continuous rise in price of commodities, saying it has never been this bad in the history of the country. They, however, call on the federal government to come up with modalities that will address the persistent price increase.
Nigerians are dying every day. Hunger, starvation, hardship. I become the talk of the day, and I keep it silent. My brother, the issue of this skyrocketing of a food item and different item in the marketplace has become a serious concern. The president should have to come up openly, talk to Nigerians that what mechanism has he ever put in place to stop this level of the suffering. My brother, people are dying every day.
They know what to do, so let them try and implement it so that we, the common folks, will benefit and will try to do our best in our own parts. So let them try their own part to reduce things, to reduce the price of fuel.
I was surprised to see the price of things, how things are inflated. I come to the market and there's no way I can do. I was asking of cost out of breeze. They are offering me about 5,000 naira, 5,005. The same thing to rice. It's about 7,000 for a cost out of rice.
Some traders who attributed the situation to fuel subsidy removal said they were not responsible for the persistent prices increases, as they only sell according to how they buy their items.
Beans na 5.5, Samoan 4.5, Gari 3.3, onions 7,000, 5,000, one basket 3,000, rice 6.5, 7,000, I'm 5'5".
Just on Zarama this last Friday, I nearly cry over there. From Zarama to here, 1,500 for 1 gallon of oil to this year. Eh? Okay, how much I buy the oil? How much I'll come sell where people go come buy? Okay, if people come look say the oil too cost, who go buy? No be people they die for hungry so. Since last week till this week, so people they enter market they beg for food. So may they reduce the fuel. That when that fuel come down, I know say things go cheap. May they bring the fuel price down. People are dying. Like we there they manage now. We know they see better food self chop again because you chop now you go think of waiting you carry go buy another market tomorrow again.
The hike in the prices of commodities is not only in Bayelsa State, but across the country. From Yanagwa, Friday, Ebimobowe Peter, Trust TV News, Yanagwa.
Now, away from economic matters, pilgrims from Kebbi State who were scheduled for the first flight to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia have left for the 2024 Hajj exercise. According to a statement by the state governor, Nasser Idris, on his X handle on Wednesday, the exercise was inaugurated at the Sir Muhammad Bello International Airport, Birnin Kebbi. The governor appreciated NACAN for selecting the state as the location for the inaugural flight. He also recognized and commended the collective effort put forth by his team and various state governments involved in making the momentous occasion. He urged the pilgrims to pray for Nigeria and its leaders. And this is the news updates on Trust TV. Coming up shortly, we'll take a look at effects of loan shark violations despite government regulation. Details of this and more shortly. Welcome back. You're still watching the news update on Trust Television. Let's take a look at our top stories again. We told you earlier that Labour dumps negotiation over federal government's 48,000 naira proposal. And the Nigerian Senate criticizes state governors over local government autonomy. And moving on, amidst the prevailing economic hardship in the country, thousands of Nigerians are turning to mobile loan applications for quick cash, despite the risk associated with these unregulated financial schemes. Borrowers from these operators face exorbitant interest rates, harassment, cyberbullying, and defamation, which can result in mental health challenges. Trust TV's Ibrahim Ismail examines the psychological effects and legal implications of defamation on customers patronizing loan shark operators in the country. The report.
In May of this year, the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission pledged to crack down on online loan platforms that engage in customer harassment. Thousands of Nigerians have been ensnared by these online lenders, whose activities range from semi-regulated to completely deregulated. For 31-year-old Chukuri, the psychological trauma lingers after he took a loan from one such online lender. 2 years ago, he faced severe distress when his pictures were publicly released by the lender due to his inability to repay the debt, leading him to contemplate suicide.
They say, "Oga, come and pay your loan, oh. Come and pay your loan, oh. If you don't pay your loan, we go share your this thing." I told them, "You can't do that now. Okay, please give me a little time. I will clear the loan." They started to give me threats on my WhatsApp message. In a day, I can get about 10 to 20 threats, calling me all manner of names. So to the extent that one of their customers have to call me idiot. If you know you cannot pay, you don't have money, why will you take loan and all those things? I said to myself, I will never borrow money from them. Then when I even managed to take another, clear that one and collect another one from another people, those ones told me that they will print obituary and let everybody know that I'm dead until I pay them their money. This one, they will take me to burial of something to recover their loan and all whatnot.
In March of this year, the Nigerian Data Protection Commission announced that it is actively investigating hundreds of cases involving privacy violations by loan shark apps. Due to the risk associated with these online shark loans, Many Nigerians are opting to steer clear of such easy access to loans.
The last message they sent was one of my friends that collected loan and refused to pay. So I don't know. The message was just entering my WhatsApp, telling me to talk to her to pay back the loan she collected, all this kind of.
I don't go to loan, I don't go to borrow because I'm coming from poor family. So I don't want to put myself into a problem or my mother to be shut down of all that thing. So rather, I don't go to loan, in short.
Beneath the euphoria of easy quick loans, customers of shark loans end up with depression as they fall into the trap of addiction.
So for a start, for a person that is not yet there, don't even mess around with loan apps. Don't put your details there. Don't take loans from them. But someone asked me, like, so where do you want us to get the money from? I'm like, I can't answer that because, first of all, I would say make better financial decisions. Live below your means. Be contented with what you have. Find meaningful work to do and engage yourself and try to live within that means of what you are earning. Seek family and friends, seek support from external people if possible. But don't go into loan apps thinking that is the easiest way out, because when the time comes for the repayment, it's going to worsen that situation that you thought that you're using the loan to solve.
Speaking on the legal perspective on the operations of shark loan applications, senior advocate of Nigeria Samuel Kagbo say public shaming and cyberbullying of customers by the shark loan providers is illegal and punishable by the law.
If you operate a scheme of whatever kind that is unauthorized, it's a Ponzi scheme. And such funny schemes come within the purview of the what we call the powers or the jurisdiction of the FCT. So I think that is an area they should look at.
While Chukwudi Uchenna recovers from the horrific experience of shark loans, the multiplying effect remains.
Because most of the time when I call my auntie will be like, are you sure you've not borrowed money or something like that? Or at times I will call my auntie will say, if it's them again, don't call me. So that's the thing. They've already tarnished my image, and my friends don't even want to associate like the way we used to do something since that issue happened.
Despite commitments from Nigerian authorities to curb illegal financial practices and cyberbullying, it appears stringent actions must be taken to regulate the excesses of online loan services to sanitize the system. Ibrahim Ismail, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And now to the international scene. France has declared a state of emergency in its Pacific Islands territory of New Caledonia and deployed police and military reinforcements in an attempt to end days of unrest over the French government's move to change the rules in provincial elections. 3 indigenous Kanak people and a police officer have been killed in violence that erupted on Monday night and has continued despite an overnight curfew. The state of emergency came into force at 5 a.m. on Thursday and gave the authorities wide powers of search and arrest. The Office of the High Commissioner, which represents the French state in New Caledonia, said in a statement that the 5 people have been placed under house arrest as alleged sponsors of the violent disturbances and that more searches would take place in the coming hours. More than 200 rioters were said to have been arrested. And now in sports, River Queens made a comeback from a first-half deficit to defeat experienced Imo Grasshoppers on day 3 of the ongoing Adova Handball Premier League 2024 at the Samuel Ogbomudia Stadium in Benin City, Edo State. And River Queens, who got promoted to the top-tier league after winning the national division of the title in the women's category, came back from a 17-14 first-half loss to defeat Imo Grasshoppers 33-29, which is their first victory in the first division. Arima Queens didn't give chaos to beat breathing space as they defeat the Nigerian Army team 34-21. And that brings us to the end of the news. For more, you can visit us on our social media platforms. On behalf of the news crew, I'd like to say thank you for watching and stay tuned to Trust Television. Bye for now.